So it's time for another eBay unboxing. Let's get started. We're going to do this in fast motion. It came all the way from Canada. It came all the way from Canada. And I don't even know what it is. So we'll find out. You'll probably see in the thumbnail what it is. Okay, so this is a relic. Let's take a look at it. Let's try to bring it over here. This is actually a saint's relic. And it's actually really frowned upon in the Catholic Church for us to own these. If it's a first class or second. First class is of the body of the saint. So it would be a tooth, a piece of muscle, skin, a fingernail, hair. Second class is something that they wore, a cap, a hat, a veil, a cloak, a pair of stockings, shoes. You get the drift. Third class is when you take a first class relic and you take your object and touch it to the first class relic. Now it becomes a third class relic, and we're allowed to have third class relics. Now, the church is actually dwindling all over. Nobody really goes to church as much anymore. So a lot of the actual churches are shutting down one by one, and they're liquidating. So all of a sudden these first class relics are showing up, and yeah, they're actually starting to show up now. And I think this is a first class relic. I didn't ask questions because I got it for cheap. And so when you get something for cheap, you don't ask questions, if you know what I mean. So you take a chance. And so I'm going to see if this has a, let's see if here on the back, if we can take this apart and we can see if this has a stamp from the Vatican. So let's go ahead and see if this comes out. Some of these do. I'm not an expert at this, so I'm going to have to look with a magnifying glass, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so basically this, you twist and pull. So we're going to do that gently. This is a pendant as well. Hopefully we'll have that authentication. And we do. Okay, so this is a true relic. Right there. You see we have, right there, oh yeah, that's a true relic. And so we have the stamp from, I guess, the Postular Consulate or the Vatican or whatever particular religious order, like the Franciscans, the Dominicans, you know, stuff like that. Interesting. Okay, this is really, really, really interesting. There's a piece of paper in here. It might say something on it. I don't know what this is about. Let me pull it out and investigate. Okay, there's something very odd in here. This is a very old piece of paper, and there is something in there. And I don't know what this is about. Can we get a focus? I have no clue what this is. Let's try to flip it. It feels like a piece of bark or a bit of like a leaf, maybe a leaf from a cigar. I mean, I don't know. This is just really weird. I'm going to get my loop out and we're going to investigate to see what kind of relic we have. Usually these come with certificates. The certificates get actually lost over the years. This looks like, okay, this looks like it's part of something. Really interesting. All right, we're going to get down to it. I'm going to get my loop out. We're going to find out more about this saint and what kind of relic we have. Guys, this is just so weird. It has a very weird, almost like skin-like texture. I have no clue whatsoever what this is. This has like, I don't know, can you see it? I don't think you can see it. But this is really, really weird. Okay, look at that. What is that? Okay, what is that? Oh, I'm a little creeped out right now. I'm a little bit creeped out. All right, so I didn't really even have to look. I did look with my loop, and it's ex ossibus. In Latin, that means the bone, and that little thing in the center. Now, this is really dirty. Is a bone. Okay, and it says it going around there that this is a bone. Let's see if we can clean this up a little. This is actually, I believe, coin silver, or at least some precious metal. It appears to be most likely silver, but it had another relic in here, which was quite strange. The seller did not know what this was, and I knew right away that this was definitely a relic. All right, so let's go ahead and try to clean it up and try to like look through this window better. All right, so I cleaned it, not much, just a little bit, just to brighten it up a little. And apparently the the discoloration is in the inside, and you cannot open the relic since it's a first-class relic. It is actually sealed with string. If you cut the string and you go in there, that's it. It's tampered with. Its value is all lost. So let's zoom in. Who is this saint? Let's find out. Now, I didn't even know. I just knew it was a relic. And it says martyr. I believe M, right there for martyr. S for saint. And Euphrasia. And then right there it says Ex Ossibus. Don't know if you can see that. Ex Ossibus, which is Latin for bone. Right in the center here, we have a bone. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty cool. You can probably see all the dry skin lines on my hand. But yeah, we have something going on right here. And this is really cool.
Born 31st July 1796 on Noirmoutier Island, France, Rose Virginie Pelletier was the 8th child of a devout Catholic doctor who cared for the poor. Her family welcomed into their home those in need of special care, and it was by her parents' example of compassion that Rose Virginie learned to love others as her brothers and sisters. Growing up, she was happiest playing in the woods and by the sea, and even at that young age, Rose Virginie showed that she was strong-willed and mischievous. In her adventures, she sometimes wandered into the cave of St. Philbert, famed as a retreat for the saint after whom it was named. There, despite the mischief of her youth, she found an odd serenity, as if in awe in the presence of a saint. When Rose Virginie was 12, she enrolled for the first time at a regular school established by the Ursuline sisters. Her carefree days roaming the island were curtailed upon her enrollment and ended abruptly when her family resettled in the mainland. Rose Virginie was inconsolable, and even more so when she was later sent away to boarding school in Tours. When a door closes, the Lord opens a window. Rose Virginie learned the value of acceptance, empathy, and kindness in finding hope and dispelling her troubles from a young teacher who took kindly upon her despite her unhappiness. It was to be a profound experience for Rose Virginie, for in her youth she would lose a brother, a sister, and both her parents. In her grief, she found strength and was drawn to the congregation of Our Lady of Charity of the Refuge. It was a congregation founded by St. John Eudes and named for the sisters who dedicated their lives to giving shelter and healing spiritually and emotionally wounded women marginalized by society. Their convent was called the Refuge. At age 18, Rose Virginie responded to the call and joined the congregation. She received her religious name, Mary Euphrasia. In Greek, Euphrasia means beautiful speech, so reflective of the numerous letters and conferences that she has written. On the day she made her vows, she solemnly promised to devote herself to that same cause for which Christ died. The demand for the services by the sisters grew and became acute due to widespread poverty and misery faced by the people after the French Revolution. Women and children were left to fend for themselves as the men had to leave home to join the army and navy, and many never returned. An urgent appeal came from the city of Angers, and Mary Euphrasia recognized the need for more houses of refuge to be established. Mary Euphrasia had the gift of attracting like-minded people with a passion for justice into religious life and as lay collaborators. With the support of the bishop, the House of Refuge, named Bon Pasteur or Good Shepherd in Angers, was started in a former factory. The house was funded by two trusted companions, Countess Geneviève d'Ondina and Count Augustin de Neuville. Countess d'Ondina was a wealthy landowner who later became her financial backer in her extensive travels. Count Augustin de Neuville had a deep concern for the sisters' work and used his social influence to advance the mission. Mary Euphrasia also established the Contemplative Sisters of the Good Shepherd, known as Magdalens. It was for those who wished to live a cloistered life. They supported the work of the congregation by their work and prayers. Mary Euphrasia was appointed superior at Angers at the age of 29, where she worked hard, organizing and connecting with helpers and benefactors. At one stage, Mary Euphrasia found herself badly in need of a professed sister for an important office, but none was available despite urgent appeals to Tours and Nantes. She believed then that a central administration, which united all the houses, was the answer, and Count de Neuville strongly supported her in this. In January 1835, the Pope granted the petition for all the houses of the Good Shepherd to come under a central administration known as the Generalate. The congregation was henceforth known as Our Lady of Charity of the Good Shepherd of Angers. Houses which did not attach themselves to the Generalate continued to be known as Houses of Refuge. The Good Shepherd sisters had an urgent need for a new place to house female juvenile offenders as an alternative to the prisons. St. Nicholas Abbey was then up for sale, but Mary Euphrasia did not have the money to buy it. The owner said to her, "Mother, do not worry. You pay with whatever money you have, and pay the rest as and when you can. Your God will help you." Mary Euphrasia was delighted. At that time, the sisters could not step out of the convent without the written permission of the bishop. Hence, they could not freely go to St. Nicholas. This was impractical, and so the very creative and nonconformist Mary Euphrasia built a tunnel access to St. Nicholas from within the mother house. The tunnel was completed in a record 3 months with the eager help of the sisters and the residents. Her zeal and daring audacity would stop at nothing. Similarly, neither objections nor lack of money could stop her. She knew this was holy work, God's work, and if it was God's work, God would provide. Mary Euphrasia's zeal to spread the Good Shepherd mission to every corner of the earth was reflected by the constant encouragement she gave to the sisters. We must not fear to go and pitch our tents on the most distant shores. She loved much and was ever ready to respond to the needs of the times. Euphrasia's ability to trust and to be open to new ideas contributed to building successful partnerships and collaboration to further the cause of Good Shepherd mission. As an example, Mary Euphrasia worked with the government, which also provided funding to accept and house young girls who would otherwise have been condemned to prison because of stealing. This was to protect them from shame and dishonor. Recognizing the dignity of labor, the sisters taught the women skills and involved them in livelihood projects. These projects gave them opportunities to earn a living and be self-sustaining. Mary Euphrasia's years of intense hard work had taken their toll on the foundress's health and strength. She was almost 72 years old when she returned to the Lord on 24th April 1868. "Goodbye, my daughters. Goodbye, dear Institute," were her last words. At the time of her death, there were 110 Good Shepherd houses in 35 countries on 5 continents. A year after her death, the Sri Lanka mission was founded. From Sri Lanka, the Good Shepherd Sisters came to Singapore in 1939 and reached Malaysia in 1956. She was canonized on 2nd May 1940. Today, as we face many challenges, including people who are trafficked, women and children who are marginalized by society and other injustices, what do you think Mary Euphrasia has to say to us?
Okay, so now it has come for the time for St. Mary Euphrasia to meet her final resting spot. And that would be a reliquary, Monstrance, much like the one on the left in the brass color. I do have a other first-class relic over here of St. Therese right there. And I have a Pope Pius X and also several more coming. And why? Because a lot of priests also pass away and their family take possession of their worldly goods, and it ends up on eBay, sadly. Look how nice it looks. It's the one on the right. And these Monstance reliquaries are beautiful. They actually make your relic look 100 times better. I'll put a link in the description below so you can buy either one of them. They are just stunning. I don't know which one I like better. Write in the chat. Which one do you like better? Do you like the one on the left or the one on the right? And that's St. Mary on the right. So let's zoom in here. And we can see through the little window the relic. And it's very hard to see because there's glass there. But that is just so cool. I'm so glad I was able to add it to my collection. And again, we're really not supposed to have this, but what I plan to do is to share it. So I would like to bring it to my local church on the feast day of St. Mary Euphrasia Peltier and let people touch their crucifixes and rosaries and whatever objects they have to it to turn it into a third-class relic. That would be a lot of fun. Can't wait to contact my local priest and also contact maybe a church by the name of St. Mary Euphrasia. Try to find that somewhere. I don't know if there's one in my area, or even if it's 50, 60 miles away, I'll take it there, place it on the altar with the priest's permission, only if the priest gives permission, and let people enjoy it. That's the greatness of these relics. You're supposed to really share it with others. And I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe you learned something. It's a lot of fun. Now, these are very expensive, even without the certificate. If it doesn't come with the certificate of guarantee, well, it's really not guarantee. It's like a certificate from the church officials, you know, the higher up church officials, saying that, yes, this is a true holy relic. But guess what? You don't need it as long as you have that red stamp. It is better if you have the certificate, but as long as you have the red stamp and the wax seal, you know that it is definitely authentic. And so we do have a real first-class relic. And without the certificate, without the Monstance, generally they sell $500 or more. Really, really quite interesting. And yeah, and the Monstrance, actually, you can add on a couple of more $100 to the price and probably actually double the price and make something like this $1,000 by adding a Monstrance to it. Thanks for watching. See you guys all soon, and so long.